Welcome back to the Daily Dose. This is Susan. That is Robert. And wow, I thought the coolest thing on our website was the little expression, it's funny how much this can help. But I'm now beginning to think that at least equal to that is the concept in the expression, come as you are.
Why does that touch you the way it does?
Because there's no judgment in there. If you allow yourself to walk in as you are, you're blessing yourself to be yourself. You're opening yourself up to whatever and kind of being prepared that other people are going to be doing the same thing.
Do you remember, and I'm closing my door, I'm going to keep talking. Do you remember, I used to spend a lot of time um, at the beginning of classes uh, telling people that you are complete as you are, to convince people that improv requires no preparation training. I used to do a lot more of that. I think it was more insecurity on my part of selling people on what they were about to do. And I've since gotten to the point where I go, we're just going to do it and people will get it. That's my own come as you are thing. So now what that speaks to, come as you are, is, again, that same inherent truth. No matter your perspective or emotional state or physical capability, there's a place for you. And it is still a place with joy. The Jam for Joy has room for all types, all perspectives, all roads. The biggest need is, can you play with others? Can you basically let go of yourself enough to yes and somebody else? Can you be a conduit, a partner?
So we had a handful of people who'd never been there before the other night. A small handful, but they
And the
didn't know.
next handful's welcome next week. Come on down.
And they'll be more better accustomed and used to what kind of foolishness we get into. So it's an interesting thing to think if you're no longer explaining it, and I think it's exactly what you told me 3 years ago. Just you got to jump in this sandbox and come play with us, then you will understand. Way better than any words, way better than any explanation of how this works, because how it works is organic and changes all the time, right? So you think about those of us who know that, we feel safe. We know we're not going to be landing heavy on somebody who's vulnerable, and we know that we're safe to be vulnerable. But let's think about the person who's never been there before, came because they liked you or liked the concept and just came. How is it for them? They sort
Yeah.
of are going to be like taking it in. Look at your eyes. Your eyes are just like mine, like big eyes, looking, listening, trying to figure it out. So maybe if they're a little quieter, how do people interpret that? And where do we go with that?
You,
Me, I talk to them. I use their name and I talk to them.
that's the, I think, inherent piece of the game, right? It is, how many games do we play where we just make sure the person knows they're being seen? Every single person gets called on. We say the value of their name. We if we approach them with energy, I mean, that whole thing that lets them know, oh geez, I mean, it wasn't hey you type of thing. That's an entirely different offer than you, right?
Yeah.
Which is, that's a real invitation. It's come play. Think of it in the animal kingdom. The Dr. Stuart Brown talks about dogs that, that pose they do where their paws are forward and their hindquarters are up and they're wagging their tail.
Oh,
That's the play pose. That signals I'm ready. So it's the same thing with the eyes open and the ears open and with energy that we give to each other. That's an openness, right? As opposed to a psychological close, like, yeah, go ahead,
hmm
right? Which,
hmm
yeah, yeah, go ahead. It's very different than, yeah, go
Yeah, they're
ahead.
both nonverbal,
Mm-hmm.
and they both have their own kind of power. And
And they
thinking
allow
about,
you to come as you are or not. There's potential judgment in the withdrawal. There is full acceptance in the embrace, the open pose, as it were.
So a mixed group is kind of beautiful because when you have someone whose first words are, I'm feeling kind of shitty today, and nobody leaves or, runs away or
Or
dumps on.
says, yeah, why don't you wait outside until you feel better?
Yeah, yeah. Don't bring that in here.
Oh, how dare you?
And what happened instead, all the new people got to witness those people who play
Yeah,
had the love
in real time.
in real
In
time.
real time. And very importantly, like you were saying at one point, I want to yes and this, it isn't about fixing that person or at the end that Barry suddenly was all better. No, no.
Yeah.
He said he felt a little better. That's all it was. That's all in quotes. It was a big all. It was a big all. And with that, we say goodbye all.